villages have had a proper makeover, and I will be the first to say that I think they actually look really cool. They aren't the most detailed thing in the world, but they are certainly more in line with everything else in the game. There are many village types, all with unique looking buildings, depending on the biome which you find them in, such as the plains, the desert, the savanna, the snowy tundra, and the taiga biome. However, if you look at the villagers within these villages, you can see that they also have unique clothing depending on where you find them. So you'll see that the plains villagers have that look that we all know and love, but those in the snowy tundra are all wrapped up warm. However, there are two variants that are not naturally generated, and those are the jungle villagers and the swamp villagers. Now, I don't know if Mojang intends on making these villages, but we have the villagers here, so I think we can assume that they will do. But since they're not in the game right now, I thought it would be fun to theorise what these villages would look like had they been in the update. So I'm going to make an entire swamp village in the same style and the same buildings that are in all of the others to try and theorise what a swamp village might look like. Let's get into it. And here I am in a swamp biome, so there's quite a lot of work that goes into making a village, and it's actually really difficult to know where to start. So I think the first thing we should actually do is go and analyse an actual village so I know where to begin. This is the nearest village to me, and this one actually has a lot of buildings very close together. So every single town or village has this centerpiece, this town center with a bell, and if you knock it, or not, what are you doing? This update is so buggy. And this particular village has the pathways going out in most directions in like a big cross shape, and then it's got some extra ones. The paths are 3 blocks. I think I can work with this. So the obvious place to start is with this town centre. So let's go back to the swamp and get started. Now that we know roughly what a village So let's go back to the swamp and get started. Now that we know roughly what a village looks like, or an example of one. Each village has its own unique set of blocks, and I'm going to go for dark oak and dark oak fence, so I think this will fit in. I don't want it to have any of the same blocks that the other villages have, just so that it seems a bit more unique. So for the town centre, I thought what I'd do is have a cauldron, so it's more like a witch's place, and have a bell on the top. Now, I'm going to do my best to try and keep this as Mojang style as possible, not green style, because if I was making this, I would definitely have a nether brick fence there so that it's not connected, because that really hurts. But the nether brick definitely would never get used here because it belongs in the nether, so we have to put up with the fact that it doesn't look as good as it could. However, I think that's a good start for the town centre itself. And now we just need to decorate around here, and it seems like every single village that's on grass uses the path block. So let's make like a little town centre around this part here. Now, the reason that I went for a cauldron is because in the swamp, I really don't think you would need a well because there's so much water around anyway. So if we start making a path going out this way, we very quickly hit the water. Now, by looking at all of the other villages out there, what happens when they hit water is it just turns to wood. So basically, along the pathways, we just have to fill it in with some dark wood. And that continues even if it goes into open water like this. I think it's pretty safe to start with just a bunch of paths and then make the houses around them. This sheep... Hold on, is he going to do it again? Yeah, look at him go! Oh, hold on. I think I've worked out why there are no villages in the swamp. Hear me out. So, based on these sheep's behaviour, look, they're in the water along with some seagrass here. Now, if I plant a pillager in there, I think he's going to behave in exactly the same way. I think he's going to get permanently stuck. Let me move further away. Is he going to spin round when he tries to move? Yeah, look, there they go. Just spinning round. So, I think the AI, or the pathing, doesn't work. Let's see what happens if I put a villager here, in the town centre. The pillager's definitely trying to go after him, but can't. So I theorise the reason that there is no swamp village is because the pillagers can't cope with being in the water. I think that the pathing... Imagine this, though. Imagine there was a big swamp village here. The pillagers spawned over here. They'd have to trudge through the water very slowly, and then they'd probably get stuck in a lot of the seagrass. I think realistically, the pillagers aren't good enough to go through the water, and the pathing has issues like this. So I think we've found the reason that there are no swamp villages, and I imagine it's a similar situation in the jungle with vines and other grass and stuff. But that's definitely not going to stop us making our swamp village. Okay, I think that's enough pathways, and I think that's probably what it would end up looking like. Because there's so much water, all of this wood does look really strange. I've tried to have the paths go off in all sorts of directions, left loads of grass blocks in between them. I've had to remove some trees, but I'm sure we can pop those back in at the end. So I think what we should do first is actually figure out what a single